Nous avons bâti un cadre
Does France want to join BRICS? Is Paris sending its love to the Organization of Developing Nations? Is this a sign that BRICS is entering the big leagues? While it's possible, it's still too soon to be sure. Here's what we know for certain. Yesterday, French media reported that Emmanuel Macron had a request. He wanted South African President Cyril Ramaphosa to invite him to the upcoming BRICS summit. The 15th annual BRICS summit is taking place between the 22nd and 24th of August. It's being held in the South African city of Johannesburg. Leaders from the 5 BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, will be present. We're talking about presidents and prime ministers. Along with these 5 nations, there will be other guests, the Friends of BRICS as they're called. Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Indonesia have all been invited, as have some other nations. Many are hopeful about becoming members. Reports say some 14 countries have applied to join the grouping. The latest application is from Egypt, and some Egyptian corporations are excited by the prospect.
It's absolutely one of the main assets that we can take advantage of by joining BRICS and by joining the new development bank. We need to facilitate our trade, whether in import and export. And one of the things that hinders this supply chain and this process is the availability of foreign currency.
Egypt may have a leg up on the competition when it comes to joining BRICS. You see, the BRICS nations have a bank, the New Development Bank, headquartered in Shanghai. There are 4 non-BRICS members: Bangladesh, Egypt, the UAE, and Uruguay. Bangladesh expects to be given membership in August. Egypt will be hoping for it too. It'll mark a new phase in BRICS. So far, the group has only allowed one country to join after its formation: South Africa, which joined in 2011. BRICS doesn't really have a proper mechanism to induct new members, but they're working on it.
Looking at institutional development of BRICS or expansion, we have concluded that we haven't as yet got what we believe is a useful document that we could place before the heads of state. So more work will need to be done on this matter. It is still to be processed, and once we have a document that we believe offers clear guidance, we will then take that to the summit in August.
And the group does seem keen to expand, especially in light of the war in Ukraine and the resultant sanctions on Russia. BRICS member countries want to get together and find a common currency they can trade in, find a way to bypass the US dollar. That's part of what's fueling the expansion. Another reason is the need for economic development. While the West is focusing on the war, the eradication of poverty seems to have been left by the wayside.
I believe the enlargement of the BRICS will be beneficial to the BRICS countries, beneficial to developing countries, and to increase the representation influence of this mechanism, and also to garner bigger power of the BRICS to serve the interests of developing countries and emerging market economies, as well as the international development cause.
China is definitely pushing for the expansion of BRICS. It's another way that Beijing can increase its global footprint, another forum where China can help steer the agenda. Which brings us back to France. Macron went to China in April. He wanted Europe to follow a course independent of the US. He wanted to maintain good relations with Beijing, especially when it came to trade. Is the BRICS summit just another platform for Macron to peddle his politics? Or is it something even more underhanded? Russia has asked France to explain Macron's invite. Moscow asked if it's some sort of Trojan horse move. While we wait for the reply from Paris, one thing is certain: BRICS is increasingly becoming a crucial platform on the world stage.
So guys, I don't actually believe President, no, well, I do believe he's honestly want to join the BRICS, but here's the thing. The French always do what's best for the French. So they'll always pick the winning team, but the French are not loyal. The minute they see sense trouble and they can get a better deal on the opposite side, they're gonna switch. And I believe what President Putin said when Moscow responded to this allegation that Macron want to join the BRICS, which will never happen because they will never allow a Western country or a European power, colonial power to join BRICS. Why? Don't forget, BRICS have their own bank in China. So you have, right now, currently you have 9 countries putting their money in the BRICS bank. They would not allow the West because if that happened, then what's the purpose of having a separate monetary payment plan from the West if you're gonna have the West to basically join? And Macron would be like a Trojan horse, which would be like, okay, we have a foot in, so I report everything to the rest of the EU countries and America, and so we can destabilize the BRICS. But the BRICS, for one, South Africa will never accept. President Ramaphosa, as stupid as he is, he will never issue an invite to Macron to come to the BRICS summit in August, because trust me, he will find all kind of hell would come towards him if he try this. If they want to be a friend of BRICS, fine, but they cannot join BRICS because we are trying to get away from the colonial powers and the manipulation of the economies and countries that the French and the rest of the EU and the American does. So, for those who actually believe this is a thing, that the French will actually join BRICS, take this out of your mindset because it will never happen. There will be no European countries who is currently in the EU, including the West and America. They will never join BRICS. I'm telling you, because they all see China as the enemy, and China is one of the main leaders in BRICS. They have like 40% of the GDP and population in BRICS. Then Russia, then India, then Brazil and South Africa, because they have massive. Right now, the BRICS is currently holding 40% of the world population and 40% of the GDP in the world. 40%. Think of that. Over 3.5 billion people, I think. If it's not more, I think it may be more. Yeah, roughly somewhere there. But don't quote me on that. But this is showing that the BRICS is getting stronger and stronger. And the only reason why the BRICS, Macron joined, because he realized the status and the power that the BRICS contain. And I also find the reporter was very misleading in this, because he's saying this is gonna make the BRICS become a player. The BRICS is already a player. So don't pay this narrative that because the French want to join, then the French would make who did that big. Like the French, what they're saying is the French will give credence to BRICS. The BRICS don't need France. They don't, because they're already a superpower. You just know that they need to get this currency trading into proper place, and then I'm telling you, when they have these 19 countries that's currently want to join BRICS, including Mexico and Saudi Arabia, especially Saudi Arabia join, it's gonna be a big blow to the Americans, because then Saudi Arabia will no longer only accept the petrodollar, which is the US, for the oil. They will accept other currencies, and when that happens, you're gonna devalue the US. Not dramatically, but at some point you're gonna lessen the value of the US. And with Mexico joining the BRICS, they're gonna hurt America on a massive scale. So we're heading in the right direction. The BRICS will balance out the world, all these sanctions and these bullying that the American does when it comes onto their currency, because they use it as a weapon globally. If you don't agree with them, they sanction you. And you have over 10 countries right now, minimum in Africa, that's heavily sanctioned by the Americans because of they don't agree or they don't put laws into place to help the Americans. So anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section, about if this revelation that's Macron will join the BRICS. And let me know. Let's talk about it. I don't know. Thanks for watching. Don't know. Peace. One love. Ha. Boom.